Sea of Stars is a wonderful game. It's a love letter to the old school classics of the Super Nintendo, like Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. It's a game that's lighthearted, fun, and has incredibly endearing characters. Each character you meet along your journey is heartwarming, sad, and adds something to the overall dynamic of the party and the game. One of my favorite parts of this game is the combat. It's a traditional turn-based system with a little twist. There's a timing mechanic both for your attacks and enemy attacks. Each time you attack, you can time your attack on the enemy and get an extra swing in, or deal a little bit more damage with one of your skill attacks, or heal your party for a little bit more. It all kind of interacts with each other and makes it fun and fresh and interactive the whole time. The battle system loop is super cool. You can attack with your regular attacks and little orbs will pop out, and you can bring those into you to add a little bit of magic to your attacks to make them stronger. If you use a skill, that requires MP, and there's not a ton of MP for you and your party, so you kind of have to plan those skills out accordingly. The way to generate more MP is either through the use of items or using regular attacks on enemies. And that's kind of the whole circle of combat. The whole loop of the combat is use your skills, use up your MP, attack with regular attacks to gain that MP back, while also being able to use the orbs to enhance your normal attacks. There's also a lock breaking system. Some enemies will have icons above their head that correlate to skills or attacks that people have in your party. So, in order to break those locks, you need to use the correct attack or skill in order to break that lock. That will also cause the enemy to essentially skip their turn in combat. That's usually when they are casting a spell of some kind, and breaking that lock will break that cast. It's important to try and break these locks, or at least break some of them, because the power level of that move that the enemy is gearing up for normally goes down with each broken lock. So it's a little bit of a puzzle sometimes in combat, trying to figure out which locks to break, how you're going to break those, and if you can't break them, are you going to focus on the other enemies and defeat those, or try and break as many locks as possible, taking away some of the power of the enemies and maybe saving yourself some health and allowing you to live for another turn. Another cool thing about the combat is the combo skills. You'll find scrolls throughout the world that allow you to learn combo attacks between certain characters. As you use these combo attacks, they can either hurt one enemy or do an AoE on multiple enemies, and using these combos builds up your ultimate. So when you use an ultimate like you are seeing here, it's a super powerful move that each character has, each one doing something a little bit different. No matter what character you use for the ultimate attack, it's going to do a ton of damage and save you a lot of the time. There are certain ones that are a little bit better than others, but you're going to have to play to figure out which one you're going to like best. As far as the story and exploration go, it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. It's kind of refreshing to have a JRPG that isn't this super loud, long, bombastic story. It's about two characters being the Solstice Warriors and going on an adventure and trying to defeat these dwellers and the Fleshmancer. It's pretty basic, it's pretty simple, but the characters really make this. They are heartwarming, they are endearing, and they are hilarious. It's such a beautifully written game. It makes you feel a lot of feels, and it's such a refreshing take on the genre. There's a decent amount of side activities, and they all offer something a little bit different. There's a spa that you can rest at and increase characters' stats. There's a trivia portion where you can answer different questions about the game and the world, and you'll get stones to sell for gold. And then there's my personal favorite mini game, and that's Wheels. It's a kind of a luck-based game where you have two characters on your side versus two other characters, and you spin a wheel with different icons on it and kind of mix and match the different symbols in order to have your characters attack and take down their base before they take down yours. There's a champion in each of the cities and around different other parts of the world, and it's really cool to just get in there, spin the wheel, and see what you can do, and eventually take on the master of Wheels. It's a fun little game that is throughout the entirety of the game, and it just freshens it up and is a nice change of pace. A few negatives that I didn't really enjoy about the game were traversing the world map on foot. It kind of reminded me of a Super Mario World, but not near as good. But on the plus side, the light puzzle solving in the dungeons remind me of a Zelda, and the cutscenes, as you're seeing here, are beautifully drawn, beautifully rendered. It has a terrific art style, beautiful colors. It really all melds together in what is a fantastic art style. I very much enjoyed it from front to back. And as you're seeing, there's so many different locations, there's so many different ways to get around. It truly is something special of a game. If you have PlayStation Plus Extra or Xbox Game Pass, it's basically free, besides the monthly subscription fee, of course. But if you have those, I highly recommend giving this a shot. If you have a Switch, you can purchase it on there. So either way, you're getting what is, to me, a top 3 game of the year nominee. It's fantastic. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see you next time.